Today we're talking about Victimitis virus. So Victimitis virus, so what does it look like? So that means that you make excuses, you complain, you're offended by everything. And it usually happens with reactive people, not so much proactive people. So they're susceptible to being easily offended, blaming others, getting angry, and saying things that they'll later regret. They whine and complain, they wait for things to happen to them, and they change only when they have to. They are victims, basically. Again, like what we talked about yesterday with your assignments coming due on March 5th, you can be proactive and not be a victim and get your work done. We only have control over one thing, ourselves, okay? So if you look at the circle, we are responsible for everything within our control, which is ourselves and our attitudes. Everything outside of the circle of ourselves, so this blue circle is within us. Everything outside of it, we don't have any control. We don't have control over the color of our skin, our weather, past mistakes, cost of tuition, parents, rude comments, location of our birth, who will win the NBA finals. We don't have any control over any of that, but we do have control over ourselves. So we have control over ourselves. We have control over our grades. We have control over our actions, our attitudes, all those things. So you can sit and complain all you want, but at the end of the day, you're the only one who can change things that happen to you. So you can either look at something from a poor point of view and suffer, or you can look at something from a good point of view and make the best of it. So let's put a stop to the cycle. Okay, push pause and change course. So we want to pass on good habits to future generations. Stretch and practice your proactive muscles. Have a can-do attitude. Breathe and remember, you have the ability to choose your reactions. Your assignment for today is you're going to read There's a Hole in My Sidewalk, and you're going to complete the assignment. So when you click on it, and I'll put the link in right here, you're going to answer. You're going to read There's a Hole in My Sidewalk. It's a poem. And you're going to answer, how did the person in the poem take responsibility for their life? Did the change from being reactive to proactive happen right away? Explain. How did the speaker change from the first stanza to the last? And write about a time you had to change from a reactive to a proactive frame of mind. So There's a Hole in My Sidewalk is right here. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. So this person is continuing to blame themselves or blame others for their misfortunes. I walk down the same street. There's this deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's all my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street. So you have this person who, when they first start off, they're blaming things that they're saying, it's not my fault that there's a hole in the sidewalk. Well, yeah, it's not your fault there's a hole in the sidewalk, but it is your fault you fell in because you saw there's a deep hole and you chose to continue going down the same path anyways. You know you're going to fail by not doing your assignments, and yet you still persist in not doing your assignments. And then eventually they get to the point where they sit there and say, well, if I don't do my assignments, I'm going to fail. If I keep going the path I'm going, I'm going to fall in. So instead, I'm going to accept that there's a hole in the sidewalk, and I'm going to go a different path.